Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Meta Market Weekly. I'm your co-host, excuse me, Justin, along with Fernando. Hope everybody's doing well today. The world gets crazier, as we all know, and I say a lot on this show, and we got a lot of interesting things to talk about. Fernando, how are you today?
Hey Justin, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And yeah, I agree with you. The world just keeps getting crazier every day. Actually, in today's podcast, I want to talk about a few of the crazy things that happened last week. Real crazy. And yeah, but before we do, I think you wanted to talk about a little bit about the Meta One coin, right, Justin?
Yeah. Meta is doing fairly well. We've been pretty stable. A little bit of a dip in price, but it's not a bad thing. And we're sitting right around 517.68. And we are currently working on an updated version of our Light Wallet along with the mobile app and finalizing and finishing our fixes from the audit that was just done. So very excited about the end of the year into next year. We're going to be working on development of our roadmap for 2024, not next week, but the week after. And then we're going to be talking about that in our January members call for all of you members out there. And yeah, I mean that's kind of the wrap up for the end of the year here. I just want to wish everybody happy holidays in whatever way that as a community and in whatever way that you celebrate or choose to celebrate. And I'm super excited about 2024, and I think it's going to be the year of Meta. So, yeah, that's what I got.
That's great to hear. And also, I believe today's Thanksgiving, right? So, Merry Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope everyone has a fantastic day, meal with their families. And yeah, so a lot happening ahead of us. Crypto and Meta One. We're gonna have a new Light Wallet and all the new stuff happening in the coming months. So very exciting. And
Yeah,
yeah, so let's I wanted to start, before we talk about the things that I was saying, crazy things that happened last week. I wanted to share a quick market analysis with you guys. So Justin, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna bring my trading view profile. Awesome. So as you can see here, these brush line that I traced from almost a month ago, and it's playing out perfectly. I've been saying that we're very likely to hit either this level, which is 48, or where we have this trend line over here, which is 41K. And I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into my analysis as to why I believe we're gonna stop there. So first of all, right now there's a lot of excitement and positive energy around Bitcoin because of the ETF, and the dollar is not very strong. We have talks about the BRICS currency that they want to release a new kind of dollar that is backed by gold. So that's bullish for Bitcoin, and it's bullish for that currency, which is not in the market yet. But there's a lot of positive sentiment on other options than the dollar. So we got that going on. So that leaves, the market, that leaves Bitcoin with more energy to keep going up. However, we do have a two major resistances coming up shortly, and one of them is this one. We can see here that on 2021 we had a rally all the way to this level, and then we have this resistance here, and we can actually give me a second. Okay, let me change the color so it's a little bit brighter. So we can see here that definitely it's a major resistance. We can see that we've touched this level several times. So it's definitely an area of interest. It's an area where the price gets there, and then it corrects, and then it goes there again, and then it corrects. So, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So definitely, it's a very interesting place for the price of Bitcoin. And as we can see here clearly, in the past, almost always when we reach this level, there is a correction. So here, the correction was from 41 to 30K. And, as I've said before, usually when the price of Bitcoin rallies, we are always followed by a heavy correction. And it's usually somewhere between 30 and 38%. So that's pretty much what I've been saying, that we're gonna reach either this level or this other level, and then there's gonna be a major correction. Like we can see here, the correction from the 41 level was about 30%. So definitely, once we hit that level, we can expect to see a correction to somewhere in this area. And if we get past this area, which I mean, I wanted to believe that we're gonna go all the way to this level, but the ETF heat and all the news around it, they've been slowing down, so maybe it's not gonna be the case. But if we do get all the way to this area, then also the correction would be somewhere around this level. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out eventually. I feel like it's gonna happen in December. I feel like in December we're gonna see if we either get to this level or this other area, and then we're gonna have that correction that I've been expecting for a while. And it's nothing new. If we take a look back at this year, every time we reach a new level, there's a correction, a new lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And it's the same thing that Bitcoin has been doing for forever. So a lot of people ask me, what I expect from the price. If the price of Bitcoin is just gonna keep going up forever. No, it's not. It's never like that. There's always corrections. And if you have a good trading analysis, you can sell at the top and buy back at the bottom. That way
And
you're
this
getting
is why I
pretty.
love technical analysis, because it kind of takes I would say it demystifies things in a way, right? Because a lot
Yeah,
of people, when they see like a correction, they start freaking out. And if
yeah,
you're doing technical analysis like this, you can see that it's coming. You don't know when it's going to come, but you can at least see that it's most likely coming, and so you're not so surprised when you see a correction.
absolutely. So yeah, it demystifies the whole process of trading. And at the end of the day, we got to understand that the market is all an algorithm. The whales have algorithms that are pushing the price up and down, up and down. And we use whenever we see patterns, we use those patterns to kind of decide how high the price is gonna go and how low is it gonna go. And it's very helpful. When I first started trading, cryptocurrencies and stocks and all that, I didn't believe in technical analysis because I was like, yeah, sure, you can predict whatever the price or which direction the market is going. But eventually, I figured out that you actually can do it. The only thing is that whenever there's major external factors happening, the trend, the trajectory that the market is taking breaks down and it forms a new pattern. So it's very interesting, to all of our viewers that are listening to us right now. If trading and buying Bitcoin and all that is more than just a hobby, and you look at it as a passion, definitely trading analysis is going to help you be a better trader. And I could recommend some teachers. I mean, off the top of my mind right now, I don't remember the names, but maybe on the next podcast, there are some people I follow on Twitter that I could give them a shout out. and you guys can look into their profile and you can see the courses that they offer. And it's very interesting. Trading analysis is very cool. It's helps you become a better trader. And yeah, definitely this is what I expect is gonna happen. Once the correction takes place, then we have the halving on April. I'm not sure if it's this precise day. I think it was like around the 20th of April, if I'm being on the spot with the day. And after that, we're gonna have a massive bull run. I know this and I say this because from all the previous bull markets, it's just been regular people like you and me investing in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that. One or another hedge fund. But on this bull run, it's gonna be completely different. We're gonna have all the major hedge funds. We're gonna have BlackRock, we're gonna have Fidelity, we're gonna have Vanguard, we're gonna have all those institutions with trillions of dollars. They're gonna jump in the market. So it's gonna be incredible. I think it's gonna be something similar to the bubble of the .com. I think that a lot of money is going to get in, and we're gonna look for a discovery of a new price for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all major cryptocurrency assets, and then we're gonna have a correction, like just like always, and just like it happened with the .com bubble. It went to a new all-time high, and then it corrected, and 10 years later, it went to a newer all-time high, and now Apple, from being valued, $1 per stock, right now it's like, how much is it? Let me tell you exactly how much the price of an Apple stock is. $191. Yeah. So it's the same thing. You just gotta do your homework, because if you're expecting to make profits and make good trades and come back home with a lot of money, you gotta do the work. You can't just expect to watch videos on YouTube, and if someone tells you to buy Solana or whatever, to just become rich because you heard it from someone. So definitely my advice is always, just try to learn a little bit of trading analysis, because it's going to help you a lot. It's like if you're going to France and you don't even try to learn how to say hello, or I want to buy this or whatever. It's the same thing here on when you're trading cryptocurrencies. I mean, if you don't try to learn the basics, the basic understandings, then you're gonna have a hard time when you're in this whole ecosystem. But yeah, so my projection, short term and long term, is very positive. Everything's looking incredibly great for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I truly believe that we're gonna see a lot of millionaires happening in the next 2 years. And yeah, I'm just very, very excited to be here, to be a part of this. Is going to be my third crypto cycle. I've been in 3 cycles already, and it's
That's a
always the same.
lot for the industry. You're a seasoned dude, man.
I am. And one thing that I can tell you is that it's all a cycle. Just like everything in life is a cycle, like we have the good times, and then we have the bad times, and then we have the good times, and then we have the bad times. And it's always, 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 always the same, not just in life, but in the market. Forget about cryptocurrencies. Let's go to the stock market. Let's take a look at gold. If we take a look at gold, let me go to the monthly candles in a second. It's the same thing. Long time ago, gold was trading the ounce at $30, and then it was trading at 185. Then it went down, then it went up, and then it went down, and then it went up and down and up and down. So it's the same thing. It's not just gold. Let's go to oil. The same thing. Let's go to meta stock. It's the same thing. It's the same pattern repeating over and over and over again. So it's just just gotta be perceptive enough to understand that it's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game, and the more information you have about how the game is played, and what are resistances, what are supports, what was the Fibonacci retracement, and all that. It's going to help you navigate better on the market, and it's going to be better for you at the end because you can double your position. If you know when it's a good time to buy and when it's a good time to sell, you're never going to sell the highest, you're never going to buy the lowest, but your percentage of being closer to the actual real number is going to be better, and you can make more money. And one of the tools that I love the most is this indicator, the RSI, because it lets you know when an asset is not. It doesn't just work for Bitcoin. It works with any asset. You can use it also with fiat currencies. For example, the dollar and the Mexican peso. You can see, hey, right now it's going down. The RSI is going down a little bit, so it means that it is very possible, it was very likely, to be honest, that it's going to go up very soon. So right now I changed the candles to a daily pattern, and we can see that the RSI is touching oversold, which oversold is once it reaches the 30% number. So right now we're at 33%, and overbought is when it goes to 70% or higher. So just by looking at the RSI, I can tell you that there's going to be a bounce, either this week or the next week. And yeah, so you can use this indicator for every kind of asset. You can use it for cryptocurrencies, you can use it for the US dollar, you can use it for oil, for stocks, for anything you want. And it's very, very, very well, when it's time to sell, it's not that very accurate, if I'm being honest. But when it's time to buy, it's super accurate. And let's just I want to show you guys what I mean, because this is, if you're paying attention, this is going to be very helpful to you in the near future. So for example, the bottom of the previous cycle, we touched 30% mark, and after that, the bull market started. And also here on this cycle, we touched 30% mark, and after that, the bull cycle started. So if I mean, it takes a lot of waiting, from here to here, it was what, 4 years. But if you got the money and the patience to just wait 4 years and just take a look at the RSI, and just buy when the RSI is at a lower level, you're gonna make a lot of money. And yeah, so that's just another way for me to tell you that technical analysis is great. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of indicators. The other day, I found out that there's an indicator that looks at moon cycles. So it's very interesting. So according to some traders, let me show my candle to the daily pattern. So according to several people, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I was skeptical about it because I heard about it from a girl on Twitter. She's like an astrologist and crypto trader.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. But according to her, the moon cycles have to do a lot with when it's time to buy and sell. And some people were skeptical, but other people were like, well, let's take a look into this. Let's see if there's any I don't know, like a pattern or true to whatever she's saying. And there is, something that I've also noticed, that whenever it's the winter solstice, there's also a selling on the market. And
Interesting.
yeah, and I just saw this. Let's take a look at the next winter solstice. It's lining up with my prediction of when I expect the market to go down. So it's crazy, and there's a lot of indicators. It's not just the RSI and the moon cycles. There's a lot of indicators. Maybe some other time we can talk more about it. But yeah, definitely, trading analysis is something that you should look into if if you're gonna start buying Bitcoin and being a trader. And yeah, hope all this information was good for you. But anyways, in other news, I wanted to talk about some of the crazy stuff that happened last week, between last week and this week. One of them was that U.S. government filed a criminal charge against Binance, and this was spearheaded against CC, which was the CEO of Binance, because he just got replaced like 2 days ago. And the reason why I know actually that they went against Binance is because FTX, which now is the biggest scam in the history of cryptocurrencies, FTX was working very closely with the U.S. government. Sam was working, with Gary Gensler. He was working with Joe Biden. He was working with the Democrat Party. He was working with all the people, all the corrupt people in the U.S. government, into bringing cryptocurrency into the stock market and all that. But Sam didn't plan very well what he was doing, and CC was aware of the situation. CC saw that they didn't really have assets to back up whatever they were claiming that they were doing at FTX, and he went on Twitter and he tweeted, what he found out, and 2 days later, FTX crashed. So I feel like I don't think CC did this on purpose. I think CC actually is a very, very nice guy, but he didn't really created this scenario with a bad intention. He was just trying to warn all of the people that were using FTX. However, I feel like he put himself a target on his back, and after that, he created the situation, FTX collapsed, and the government was after Binance every single day. Every day we had news about Binance, about that they were bad, they were wash trading, and so on and so on. And it is not true, But at the end of the day, CC, I think it was yesterday, he agreed to settle with the U.S. government, and he's gonna pay $4.3 billion to settle whatever claims they're saying. And people were asking me, so is he guilty or not? Is Binance going to collapse? No, Binance is not going to collapse because FTX, they were using customer funds to leverage trade, and they lost all that money. So when all these people wanted to withdraw their funds, there were no funds to withdraw because they lost this money. And Binance is not doing that. Binance was not doing leverage trading. Actually, there's a website. I don't have it with me right now, but you can see how much cryptocurrency they hold under reserves, and they have like $70 billion worth of crypto in their reserves. So they never used customers' money to trade or leverage or anything. However, Binance is I would say is the major enemy of the traditional system, because Binance is actually a corporation that is doing things on another level. Actually, I have an article here that explains that Binance is more profitable than Germany's biggest bank, Deutsche. I don't know if I said it right. But yeah, so Binance was created in 2018, and 8 months after it was created, it beat one of the largest banks in Europe that was established over 148 years ago, with more revenue, and it was just breaking all the metrics. And Binance has well, when they broke the metric, they only had 200 employees, and they beat a giant bank with over 100,000 employees. So Binance is the most profitable business model in the history of humankind. I mean, it is beating the largest bank well, not the largest, but one of the largest banks in the world after only 8 months of being created. So the U.S. government knows this. The U.S. government knows that cryptocurrency exchanges are here to stay, and they're gonna be the biggest business ever. I personally believe that Binance in the next 10 years is gonna be the biggest company in the world, bigger than Apple, bigger than Microsoft, bigger than everything, because the business model just works. And the U.S. government, just decided to go after not just Binance, but Coinbase, Kraken, BitMEX, all the major cryptocurrency exchanges. The U.S. government decided to go after them because they're going to introduce new exchanges. They're going to introduce new players from BlackRock, from Fidelity, from Vanguard, and the government wants them to be the ones on top. They want them to be the ones that are making the profits, the ones that regulate, the ones that get all the good stuff. But anyways, I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? All I can tell you is that 2 days ago, CC, which is stands for Changpeng Zhao. I don't know if I said it right. The CEO of Binance stepped down, and he was replaced by Richard Tang. And Richard Tang is actually a guy that works for the system. He's in the World Economic Forum.
Oh,
So
geez.
yeah, so it's bad for cryptocurrencies in general, but it's good for Binance, to work hand by hand with the SEC, the U.S. government, the Fed, and all that. So they took one of the greatest guy, if not the greatest guy I've ever seen in crypto. Hands down, CC is just an incredible person, and they replaced him with this guy that, I mean, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good for the market, for regulation, and all that. But he's not gonna be good for decentralization. He's not gonna be good for the regular for everyone in general. But it is what it is. And yeah, I also wanted to bring to your attention that also the SEC just sued Kraken one more time. I don't know if you remember that a couple of months ago, the SEC went after Kraken and Coinbase and all the major cryptocurrency exchanges, and it seems like they didn't have enough for Kraken, and they're going after them one more time. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're all tired of the same situation from the SEC. They're just going after the good guys, which reminds me of a tweet that I was reading from one of the Winklevoss brothers. It was saying that back in the day, if the SEC went after you, it meant that you were doing something wrong. But nowadays, if the SEC goes after you, it actually means that you're doing something good. So it's just crazy to see how the SEC and the government operate these days. But hopefully, everything will soon be over now that the big players are coming into the market. And yeah, I mean, I really believe that the next year is going to be a very interesting year, and we're gonna see a lot of money flow into the market. Justin, I don't know if you have any thoughts on everything I just said.
Oh. Yeah, man. I mean, it's I don't think any of this surprises us anymore. I mean, this is not just happening in the crypto space, but it's happening. I mean, they've weaponized these third party three letter agencies for quite a long time. I mean, we see what's happening with Trump and his 17 million indictments that are just all ridiculous.
Yeah,
And it's this is what they do now to be able to target people that are actually doing good. And we also know too, of course, with lots of projects, including our own, that the SEC has gone after, that they're doing this in the crypto space because kind of what I said to you before we came on air, Fernando, that I feel like the government's motto is if you can't join them, try to take them over and control them. So
absolutely.
we're seeing them work with the other side, the private sector side, their friends, their buddies at BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street and all of these big hedge funds to jump into the mix and take more of the market share. And like you said, there's two perspectives to this. One, it's really going to be if you just want to purely make money, if that's all you're about to be in the bull market of your life, because that's
Oh
what's
yeah.
going to happen. But if you're on the other side where you're really about like, crypto and the technology, blockchain, the technology, and it's used to be able to create truth and honesty and transparency and all those different things. Um, it's not so great. So yeah, it's crazy that that this stuff happens, but this is why we just all have to keep on pushing forward as a global community and do everything that we can to continue to push blockchain projects forward, decentralization, all of these different things. And do I think that from a business perspective, a Binance, is their business model great? Yes, it is. Is there a place for them? Yes, because for us as a community globally to be able to see adoption, we have to have choices. There are people out there who do not want to be self custodial. They don't care about decentralization. They're the regular Joe that really just wants to get into crypto and wants it to be really easy. And so I think that Binance really has a place for that. And then there's a lot of the community also who wants decentralization, all these different things. And that's where projects like ours, lots of other different projects come into play. So those options have to be there. Just like we've talked about in the future, Fernando, how there won't just be one coin. Like Meta One will fit into the category of a coin that people can use on a regular basis to buy and sell goods and services. But then there's going to need to be a coin for, there could be a coin for, an individual marketplace or an individual market itself. There could be a coin that's only for, specific people who are in some specific industry. Or there could also be coins that serve different purposes. For example, like you said before, we need to have some kind of coin that's an index coin so that we're not saying, this amount of Meta One is this in US dollars, or this in Mexican pesos, or this in the euro. We're saying Meta One is worth X amount of this type of file coin, let's say, or something. I know file coin is a different coin, but I'm just using that as
Yeah.
an example. So yeah. I mean, and God, I'm sorry to the guys at Kraken. I'm sure they're so over being
I
sued by
know.
the SEC a million times. But I guess this comes with the mission, right? It comes with the mission of being passionate about this new technology that really can take the power out of the hands of these few elite people, international bankers at the top of the World Economic Forums, the Rockefellers, the this fellers, the that fellers, and put it into the hands of the people. And that's what it's all about. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think that maybe what they're trying to do is to try to make these corporations go broke and then buy them. I know that's what
Yeah,
they did.
yeah, smart. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right.
Yeah. Have you heard of Bittrex?
Yes, I have.
So they actually did that to them. They find them and find them and find them until they went broke. And I believe that they were just purchased by the, I don't really know who purchased them, but it's probably someone related to BlackRock or Vanguard or whatever. So yeah, I mean that's at the end of the day, the government is a mafia. They pretend like they're good and all that, but we all know they're not, and that's what they do. They take away competition by they say you're doing something illegal when you're not, and between the time that lawsuit opens and the lawsuit ends, you have to pay millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to pay your lawyers and to survive, because they're damaging your reputation. And by the time that you run out of money, out of nowhere, it's a miracle. The judge reaches a conclusion, and now you're broke and you have to sell your company. And I I cannot throw a stone without hitting one of the million cases where that has happened. So
Yeah, it's kind of like a hostile takeover if you think about it by the
yeah,
government. Like if, I don't know if anybody is, knows what a hostile takeover is, but that basically is when an investor, typically this happens in corporate America, where an investor comes in, they start buying up shares, they get more and more and more and more power in the company, and then they get to a point where they typically negotiate with all the other people that own shares. They buy the rest of them from them, and they basically own the company. And then, of course, in a corporate regular structure with a board of trustees, or a corporate board, that in that situation, those people don't have voting power anymore. And then that person who's that kind of investor that's coming and done this hostile takeover can do whatever they want with the company. They can fire the CEO, they can fire the whole team if they want, and bring in their own people, whatever. And so, in a way, you're right. This is kind of like the government colluding with their friends on the private side to basically do a multi-pronged attack on a hostile takeover, where they're hitting them from the private side, where their hedge fund friends are doing this, getting into the market, buying up shares perhaps, or contracts for that company, etc. And then the government on this side is attacking them with lots of lawsuits. And then by the time that everything is done and over with, the company's either bankrupt or they've just spent their war chest, and then it's just like, hey, well, now we can just take you over. Yeah, I never thought about that. I mean, it makes logical sense, but I've never
yeah.
thought about it that way. You're totally
And
right.
the worst part is that the government owns all the media.
Yeah,
So even though they're the bad guys, the media is going to report that you're the bad guy and that you did something illegal and so on and so on. And 95% of all the media is owned by them. So they're gonna smear your reputation, they're gonna take away your company, they're gonna make your life miserable. And the worst thing is, at the end of the day, they're gonna come out as the good guys because, like you said before, the history is written by the winners. And the government is a hydra. It's a seven-headed monster that can't even be destroyed anymore. It has too
yeah,
much power.
yeah,
So it's very sad. And it's actually very interesting what you were mentioning right now about the headboard and all that, because that brings me to the next article that I wanted to share with you guys. Something very similar just happened. So at the same time we were having this situation with crypto, we're also having a situation with AI. And it's very interesting that at the same time, we had a massive situation, with the leader of crypto and the leader of AI. I guess, I don't know, it has something to do with reality and where it's going in the next years. Uh, this is actually very interesting because OpenAI, which they're the head panchos of AI, the top of the game. They fired the CEO, which is Sam Altman. Everyone's like, why? Why did you do that? And I read something very interesting about it, but we'll come to that later. So they fired Sam Altman, and the next day Microsoft hires Sam Altman. And it's very interesting because Microsoft is the biggest shareholder in OpenAI, and I guess they were asking that themselves, like, why did you fire Sam Altman? He's our biggest asset. And immediately after they fired Sam, the stock price of OpenAI fell very bad, you know. And it seems like Sam is a very likable guy. It seems like everybody loves him. And out of 700 employees working at OpenAI, 650 quit for solidarity for Sam the next day. So the stock price of OpenAI tanked super bad. It went down to hell, and I know it really does not make sense. Something very weird was happening, and I'll come to it later. So everyone left the company. Sam then went to Microsoft, which Microsoft is the highest shareholder of OpenAI, and these guys, the board of directors of OpenAI, they're like, geez, we're screwed. What did we just do? We lost everyone. The value of the company went to hell. Like, what do we do next? So 2 days later, all of this happened within a time period of 6 days. So like 2 days later, OpenAI hires back from Microsoft Sam, and they put him as CEO once again of OpenAI. But he said, I will only go back to OpenAI if you fire all the board members that fired me. And apparently, it's something very related to what you just said about the shareholders, how they're doing a hostile takeover. So I guess that Microsoft did a hostile takeover, being well. I guess it was not so hostile because the old new board members created the coup. They attacked Sam, and then Microsoft solved the problem by sending Sam back into the company, but by firing all these people. And now the share price of OpenAI has stabilized. So it was something very weird. It's like, why did this just happen? Within 6 days, Sam got fired, and 650 employees quit. Then Sam went over to Microsoft, the biggest shareholder of OpenAI, and then all the board members quit, and Microsoft sent back Sam to OpenAI. So it's very, very weird, right? I mean, that's something that doesn't usually happen. And I was reading, which brings me to the next article, that apparently the reason this happened is because there was a technological breakthrough called Q Star. And apparently, Q Star is a massive threat to humanity. Is Skynet level threat to humanity. And the board members were telling Sam, like, hey, yes, it's a threat to humanity. Yes, it might destroy the world, but we can profit out of it. While the world goes to hell. And Sam said, no, I don't agree with this. So they fired Sam, and then he went to Microsoft, and then everybody left OpenAI, and they fired the old board members had to quit, and then they hired back Sam, and they bring new board members. So it seems like the whole point of this story is that there was a technological breakthrough about a new technology called Q Star, and apparently it's a massive, massive, massive threat to humanity. And I mean, who knows? That's all I know so far. I'm gonna have to do more research about it to see what it's all about. Could be something like, I don't know if you saw the TV show Silicon Valley. That at the end of the TV show, it seems like they create a new AI technology that can tear apart any encrypted software or whatever in seconds. And at the end of the show, it's like, well, we just created a new technology that can hack nuclear weapons, can hack the blockchain, can hack anything. So they just decide to destroy it. And it's very possible that we're talking about a technology that's very similar to that from the TV show Silicon Valley. It's a very good TV show. I really recommend it to everyone. And yeah, so that happened. All of that stuff happened within this week and the last one. And it's just crazy. I don't know if you want to add anything to what I just said, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, that's just nuts. I mean, when you were talking about that, I was just thinking too, it's possible that that's what happened with Sam. It's also possible that Sam was in on it and it was a false flag. Like the whole thing was just a setup,
Yeah.
to again seep the control of WWEF and all of these, international bankers, et cetera, into the project. but yeah, that's nuts, man. I mean, but it's nuts in one way. In another way, it doesn't surprise me in this world that we
Yeah,
live in. But yeah,
absolutely.
that's so crazy. I can't. Wow. I mean, and the fact that that all happened in 6 days' time is
Yeah,
just like
it's
mind
super
blowing too.
crazy.
It's like
I was
that's no time whatsoever. Like, holy
Yeah.
moly.
So
Um,
he got fired, and then he went to Microsoft, and then everybody quit, and then the board members were made to quit, and then when he got hired back, all in six
wow.
days. Was
Wow.
watching it all live happen on Twitter.
Wow. That's nuts. That's so
Yeah,
nuts. Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, but also, what you were saying could be true as well. Unfortunately, I really don't like AI. I really think that it's very dangerous and that it is a threat to humanity. And, I wouldn't be surprised if that technology that they were talking about has been around for a long time. And maybe, who knows, whoever actually created it in the first place was trying to push it out into the general public. And that's the reason why Sam quit or something. Who knows
yeah,
what really happened, but it's definitely crazy. And, I think it's more and more of a problem. And it's interesting because there's actually this theory out there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's 100%. Obviously, it's a theory, but there are some people who have said that there are people who are time travelers. I know I'm going way out. I got to put my tinfoil hat on, but there are time travelers that have come back from the future or a future and actually have said that in their future the way that humanity went was the way of AI, and they basically ended up in a situation very similar to the movie The Matrix,
yeah,
and where machines took over and the humanity was literally like not like debt slaves like a lot of humanity is now, but like literal slaves. And that there was a pivotal point in this century where that kind of started to happen. And so, it's like it's interesting to look at that and go like, how is this going to go? Because I feel like this is one of the major things that we really have to step up against as humanity and just say, no, we are not going to accept this technology. And if we are going to have AI be something that is going to even continue to exist on this planet, it has to be really um it has to be regulated somehow. I don't know how that's possible. I mean, I know you've mentioned before, as much as I go back and forth in him, you mentioned before, Elon is trying to do stuff like that, which I do see, but it's got to be like there has to be something, because this can just get to the point where not only is it just about like the human beings that are controlling it, but then it gets to the point where you start to think about cognitive and generative
yeah.
AI that can just like you're not talking about, it doesn't matter if a human is involved, like it just gets to a
Yeah.
point where it starts making its own decisions, it starts doing its own thing, and that's where it starts to get really really dangerous.
And that's gonna
um,
happen. That's for sure.
it's
It's gonna
it's
happen.
already happening. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've read some things about this that kind of stuff already happening, and so that's the thing is like you know
I actually read an article that said that by 2025, which is actually 1 year and 1 month away, that there's gonna be an artificial intelligence god that is gonna proclaim itself to be a god,
Ugh.
and that is gonna be is gonna have something's gonna happen to reality. I mean, I don't know if it's going to connect to the CERN super collider or it's gonna connect to a quantum computer or whatever. But according to what they say, that 2025, an artificial intelligence is going to auto-claim itself as a god. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
It's nuts, man. It is nuts for sure. But yeah, we just got to keep on fighting the good fight, and I still believe humanity can win against all odds, and hopefully we'll have some change here, and people will realize these things that are going on. But yeah.
But I don't totally think that AI is bad. What I think is going to happen is that, at the end of the day, AI is code, and there's going to be different kinds of AI, just like you have Bard, you have Grok, and you have Chat GPT and all that. And
Uh-huh.
I think, people like Sam, I've seen interviews about him, and I've seen him talk, and I feel like he's a humble, good-hearted person, and he's
Mm-hmm.
the creator of that technology, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Feel like maybe since he developed that technology, at its core, he's gonna program it for good, to protect, to do good things. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we're gonna have another AI technology created by the people of Google or the people of Microsoft. That we know that they poison your food, that they create mosquitoes with malaria, and so the bad guys. And they're gonna have this AI technology, and they're gonna program it to the profit and advantage of the corporation that created it.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like this is my opinion, and I feel like at the end of the day, we're gonna have one AI fighting against another AI, and we'll see what happens. But to say that AI is bad overall, I don't think would be correct, because I know that the AI technology can be good, but
Yeah, no,
definitely
no,
we're gonna.
I do agree with that. Absolutely. And but that's just the thing, is that I think it's not that I think that AI technology is bad. It's just like any technology. It's like I have this conversation a lot with some of our members who are privacy conscious like myself, and they go, "Hey, Justin, why are we doing biometrics? Like this is too much. China does this stuff to control people. The government does this. This is how they use this technology." And my response is yes, that is true, but it's all about who is in control of the technology. And the
Yeah, yeah,
reason why I'm the one, I even use our biometrics as well to log into my wallet and everything, being a person who goes above and beyond to protect my own privacy. And I very much don't like biometrics in 99% of the time. But the reason why I do that is because I've seen the code. I've seen what it's written on. I know the people who have written the code, and I know that they're good, trustworthy people, and the way that we're using the technology is good. And I think that's just the thing. Like you're saying, it's like if this guy Sam is the real deal, and if he really means to create the technology and to do for good, I totally believe that. It's just the same spiritual war that we're fighting, good versus evil, on this planet, that is continuing to happen, and we've talked about on last podcast of World War III, and this is part of it. It's this technology is going to be used by the good, and it's going to be used by the bad, and it just depends upon which one is supported the most and which one humanity decides to get behind. Because you're right, if we put the proper restrictions and controls and coding of prevention into these projects for AI, then AI could be amazing for humanity. It could take us to the
yeah,
next level where can help us take to the next level. Obviously, there's other issues that we have to work out, but where we're living in, that dream that I love to talk about, where it's the Star Trek reality, and we're,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're,
I agree.
we're discovering, exploring the stars, and that's what we're focused on, because there's lots of things that AI can do that can help humanity, but it also can hurt humanity. So
Yeah,
it'll be very interesting to see. I agree with you, and I think that the next 6 years, the rest of this decade, is going to be very interesting. And I honestly think that the first 5 years and the last 5 years of this decade are going to be drastically different. And I also agree with you that next year is the beginning of that. I think that next year is going to be, I don't know, I just have this feeling. I just feel like next year is going to be a very unique, interesting, and different year, because there's a lot of big things happening. There's an
yeah.
election in the United States which really
I was
affects
gonna
the
say that.
entire world, and there's a massive good versus evil, spiritual warfare happening with that election. Um, there's a lot of other things that are going on just all over the world that are coming to a crux and a precipice, and it's going to be quite interesting to be on this planet and see what happens. So yeah, yeah,
I think the elections happening next year is going to be super crazy. You know,
me
I
too.
think there's going to be like a civil war. There's gonna be, you know, something major is gonna happen next year. I think it's gonna be, you know, the darkest before the dawn next year.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's going to be quite interesting, but also at the same time, I feel like, humanity really has a chance of winning. And, what I'm seeing, I can't speak for the authenticity of these people because I'm not in those specific countries. And, maybe if I know we have some Netherlands members or maybe someone else who's not a member listening's from the Netherlands, but, I just saw that the Freedom Party of the Netherlands, that's a kind of they label them right wing, but they're more about freedom and humanity. Has just
Yeah.
won the most seats in the Dutch Parliament, and I'm interested if there's anybody who's from the Netherlands who's listening to this. Would love to hear your thoughts because I may be totally wrong and they may be not what they sell themselves to be. But I'm seeing this happen in many different places. I also um, just saw that Javier, I can't remember his last name, but that the gentleman who's kind of like a for humanity kind of freedom guy just won. He wants to abolish like half of the Argentinian government. Just won the election there. And I actually watched an interview with him on Tucker, and I thought that a lot of what he was saying was very interesting,
Yeah.
and was
I
cool. I
mean,
mean, I of course, again, I'm not in these places, so I can't tell you if he's real or not. But I just think it's an interesting trend that we're seeing here, where more. I think humanity is just fed up, right? And we know
yeah, yeah.
that because we're part of it, and they want to see some change. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah, but that can be also very hurtful at the time of taking decisions
Yeah, yeah.
because you know you're desperate, and because you're desperate, you don't really think, and you just follow whoever sounds different, you know,
I
right?
agree. I agree with you on
And
that for sure.
I feel
Absolutely.
I feel like the president of Argentina, this new guy Milei, I feel like he's one of those cases. You know, at the beginning
Mm,
I supported him because he was pro Bitcoin. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you know. But then I started hearing everything he says, and he's super racist, close minded. He's like, the other day he was saying like, we're not gonna work with China or Brazil or any communist parties. Like,
Uh,
screw them. And he's always cursing. I don't know if you can tell that like 70% of everything he says is just cursing and cursing and cursing.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, they didn't maybe he was and they just didn't translate it in the Tucker interview, but that's not what I saw. But yeah, I mean, you speak Spanish, so I trust you over what
Just
Tucker's
cursing.
translators were doing.
I've never seen a politician curse more than that guy.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
I feel like people like him and agree with him because he's a crazy guy that he's just, you know, cursing and cursing and cursing, and people connect with that, you know, like, oh, he's one of us. And you know, at the beginning I
Huh.
was like, this guy, he's crazy, I like him. But then I went past his words and the curses and the Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin had me in love with that guy, you know, like, yeah,
Right.
this guy's in Bitcoin. But you know,
Yeah.
I love to play devil's advocate. I love to, you know, kind of look beyond, and you know, I'm gonna be a little bit negative to see the pros and cons. And then I started to hear him talk, and he says that he's against communism and all that, but everything he says sounds like he's going to be communist. He was saying that he's not gonna work with China and all the other countries, and I'm like, come on, man! Like, you're in a terrible situation. You're not in a position to say that you're gonna work with someone or you're not gonna work with someone. Your purpose of being president is to mediate, and you need to find peace and you need to work with everyone that's willing to work with you. You know,
Right.
China. And to begin with, China is not even communist anymore. It started as a communist party, but right now I believe they're kind of like socialist, and they have a free market. You can buy Alibaba on the stock market. You can buy Neo. I mean, China right now, it's the best economy in the world. And it's just like, no, no, like he's disregarding them because they had different views. So that's pretty much being racist when you're just discrediting someone because you were told that they're bad. He's not even allowing them the chance to see if there's any good or whatever. So I don't know. Just my thoughts on that guy is that he manipulates a lot with emotion. He manipulates a lot with words. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with him. But
Yeah,
interesting time.
like I said, I can't, I really can't, I can't really can't speak to the authenticity of those people I
Yeah.
just spoke about. It's really best to hear from either, yourself or even somebody who is from Argentina and lives in Argentina and what their views are too. But it's same thing with that party from the Dutch. And again, this is how people play too. They like to say something and do something different. So, but yeah,
Time will
interesting
tell.
times in the world. We've gone a bit long on this one, but it was a good one, and I really appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. Again, wishing just a happy, healthy holiday season to you and your family, and a happy new year, and all those fun things. And I just hope everyone is doing really good. And if you like the show, if you found it interesting, please give us a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with somebody. That's the biggest compliment that you can give us. And we want to hear from you. Again, leave a comment about anything we talked about. We'd love to hear what you have to think about all these different things, and also any suggestions on topics you want us to talk about or interviews you want us to have, whatever that is. So again, thank you so much. And Fernando, do you have any closing words before we get out of here?
No, I guess you've said it all. Just drop a like, comment, share, and we'll see you next one.
Great. See you next one, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.